What's up, guys? Justin here with TheSketchUpEssentials.com, back with another SketchUp speed modeling video for you. So in this video, I'm going to go through and I'm going to model a house that I just found on the internet. And I've sped this up to make sure this video is not like 45 minutes long. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to kind of try to walk you through what I was doing as I did it. And if you have any questions or anything like that, just leave a comment down below and I can help fill you in on this. I may be doing videos like this more often. I haven't really decided yet. It kind of depends on what kind of response I get. So let's go ahead and just jump into this thing. Alright, so there's a couple different ways that you can come through and you can model something like this. If you're modeling a house, you can either kind of model like the floor plan and then extrude everything up, or you can do what I did, which is draw the elevations first and then kind of back into everything from there. So either approach is fine. It just kind of depends on what you want your final product to be. Like, for example, this was all that I wanted, was just the front side of the house to create kind of an image and stuff like that. I didn't really care about modeling a 360-degree house, so modeling the front elevation, which is what I had a picture of, kind of made sense. So in this case, you can see what I did is I started off and I drew kind of the front elevation along with the roof pieces. And I also came in and I extruded the chimney, just drawing a rectangle and then extruding that up using the push-pull tool. And then I came in here and I started off, and you can see how I just scaled everything. And the reason I just scaled everything is because I like my stuff to be somewhat to scale, just because that's how I kind of detail everything out. I like my doors to be close to accurate. And so everything was coming out about a foot short, so I just went in there and I kind of scaled my model up a little bit just to make it a little bit bigger. And so what you're going to see in this video is I spent a ton of time detailing out these windows, and I keep thinking there must be a faster way to do this, but I haven't quite figured out what it is yet. So if any of you have figured out a fast way to detail out windows like this, let me know. Leave a comment below. So, and then what I tried to do here at first is I tried to do all these panes using components, but that didn't work because in this case the perimeter windows, or the perimeter metal pieces are wider than the central metal pieces. So in that case, it didn't really work to have a component because you weren't repeating the exact same shape. And quite honestly, I could probably have just done the panes all the same size because I'm not really getting into that level of detail. But in this case, I ended up just coming in here and drawing each one of these separately. And then something I started to do about halfway through this video is, in the past, I've kind of detailed out on my window panes, and then I've kind of push-pulled them about a ½ inch to give them a little depth. But I kind of stopped doing that about halfway through this video because it really wasn't making a lot of sense to me. You know, you can't really see the depth from the elevations that I was looking at, and it creates a whole bunch of extra geometry in your windows, so I would say you could probably skip it. I don't know what the effect is of rendering that, so that may be something to think about. But you can see how I also came in here and I modeled out all of the trim in here, and I assumed that everything was going to be kind of a 6-inch trim piece. And then what I'm doing right now is I'm coming in here, I drew the roof, and then I extruded the roof all the way across, just so I had that kind of in the background. And all I did is I drew a triangle up based on the center of the building on the back. And then I extruded it across just like that. So then I came in and I worked on this front window, which I spent a ton of time on this front window, but if you think about it, it actually has a ton of geometry in it, and it's also kind of one of the more central points of this building, so it kind of makes sense that I would spend a lot of time on it. And also it was a little different because it had kind of a thicker metal holding piece in the middle, and so I had to spend a little more time detailing it correctly. And I would say in this case that's probably the right choice because this window is probably one of the focal points of this building, so people's eyes are going to be drawn to it. So that's why I spent so much time on that particular window. And then so I came in here and I detailed all these window panes in here separately. I tried to use the move tool to move as much geometry at once as I could. So the move tool in copy mode. So I'd kind of copy things a ½ inch to one side and then a full inch to the other side to create that like 1-inch metal piece in there. So once I kind of had that figured out, I came in here and I worked with my roof a little bit. And anytime you're dealing with a pitched roof like this, you're going to have to do a little bit of manual filling in of roofs. But then I came in and I kind of modeled up the window in the middle of this roof up here, and all I did is I kind of drew a rectangle kind of the size that I wanted, and then I just kind of backed into the I backed into where the intersection would be of the roof on this one. And then same thing, I just came in here and I kind of modeled out all the windows and everything. And again, these were the most time-consuming thing on this model. But at least in this case, I could kind of copy everything over a little bit and save a little bit of time. But so I came in here, I detailed out all these windows, and you can see I'm spending a lot of time erasing out extra geometry. Then what I realized is there was a little extra piece on the ends of each one of these, so I had like trim around the window, and then a little bit of siding material on the other side of that. So I kind of had to push-pull this in copy mode just to kind of widen that a little bit. So then I came down here and I modeled the 2 windows on the wall, and the nice thing about the 2 windows down here is they were identical windows, so I could make one a component and then make a copy, so I only had to model it once instead of modeling each one twice. And you can see how I've got kind of the trim piece on each one of these, and then I've also got the metal pieces in here as well. So then I came in here and kind of manually fixed this roof a little bit, just to make sure everything was kind of intersecting. And all I did is I just drew lines at kind of a perpendicular angle in there to, or a perpendicular, just an extension to that line in order to kind of fill in the geometry. And then I came in here and this roof needed to overhang a little bit. So what I did is I used the offset tool to offset that outside of the actual structure, just so it had a little bit of overhang in here. Then I came in here and I just filled in this kind of roof intersection, and you're gonna have to do this a lot. Anytime you have different pitches intersecting, you're gonna have to kind of fill those in. And I wasn't necessarily super thrilled with the way that turned out, but I think it was kind of close enough for what I was trying to do. And you kind of have to decide that in your models, like how detailed you want to be with stuff like that. So then I came in here and I kind of detailed out the little room on the side of the house right here, and so I just kind of manually drew in that slope and that roof, and then I used the push-pull tool to give it a little bit of a overhang. And then this is me just coming in here and detailing out the trim, and I figured all the trim to be about 6 inches. So, and then what I realized is the chimney needed to stick out a little further from this house, and I hadn't quite drawn it big enough. So what I ended up doing is using the offset tool on the top of it to add that geometry and then push-pulling it down. So you can see how now that kind of sticks out from the building a little bit. It just kind of gives that, it just kind of gives the building a little bit of detail along there. So, and then I came back in here, did the same thing, just kind of detailed out all the metal pieces and all the glass in here. And like I said, I spent a ton of time on windows in this model. So, but again, there's a whole lot of detailing in a window. And again, leave a comment below if you know of a faster way to do this, because I'd love to hear it. So anyway, I came in here and I detailed out this window. And then I kind of came in here and started drawing these supports. And all I did is I kind of gave myself a line that I could kind of draw these supports off of, and then I made them a component. So I tried to kind of split the difference on this piece right here, and then I adjusted my wall to kind of suit this. So, and this wasn't an exact thing, I was just trying to pick something where these felt big enough, and also they felt kind of centered on this wall. So I just kind of moved that in and out a little bit until I kind of liked what I had right there. So next thing I did is I came in here and I detailed out these little louvers on here, and the louvers basically just kind of filled this space for me. So what I did is I came in here and I divided this line so that I knew how big my louvers needed to be, and then I kind of drew in a piece. So I started off with a rectangle, just like this. I drew a rectangle back, and then I made it a group and I rotated it a little bit, and I extruded it across, and then I just made a whole bunch of copies down to the bottom. So you can see how that made the little fins of the louver. So at this point I came in here and I started coloring everything in, and again I didn't try to get super crazy with the colors. I tried to use just regular colors wherever I could, and then I came in here and I tried to use all of SketchUp's built-in colors. So in this case, I took the siding color that was in here and I adjusted both the shade and also the size, and you can find those options in the materials section of your tray. So if you have a material selected and you click edit, you can see how there's the color wheel in there that you can adjust, and you can also come in there and adjust the size down there at the bottom. So you can see how I made the siding material kind of narrower. I did that by adjusting the size of the material. So then I came back back in here and detailed out some more of the trim and started adding the glass material. Or actually, I came in here and I actually used one of the roofing materials for this kind of shingle siding look in here, and I could have gone and looked for different materials on different websites and stuff like that, but I really wanted to do everything with kind of stock SketchUp materials as much as possible. So I came in here and I colored in all these different window lights and stuff like that. Then I came in here and added my roof. And then one of the things that got a little tricky to me, and actually what I noticed is this roof over here should have overhung a little bit. And so what I ended up doing is I used the offset tool to offset that about 6 inches to give me a face. And then I pulled it and then kind of filled in the extra geometry. And you can see how I was constantly adjusting the colors just because I wasn't super thrilled with the way all this looked. So then I came in here and I added a little bit of detail to the wood on this door, just like this. And you could get more detailed with this door if you wanted to. And really maybe what I should have done is adjusted the wood material down a little bit, because that texture is a little bit big. But then one of the other things I struggled with a little bit is SketchUp didn't have a stone material that matched this. So what I ended up doing is I ended up just going with kind of the rough dark brick material in here. And again, I could have gone looking for something that kind of fit a little bit better. But in this case, I really just wanted to come in here with SketchUp's materials real quickly, just like this. So, and you can see how I didn't really detail out the back of the house, and the reason for that is I'm not really intending to do anything with the back of the house at this point. All the images that I want are going to be on the front side, so there's really no reason to go in there and do anything on the back side. And one of the other things I want to note is I did spend a lot of time using the divide option for dividing lines in SketchUp. And so to do that, you just right click on a line, select the divide option, and then kind of move your mouse, and it'll give you different segment lengths and segment counts in there as you move your mouse, and you can just click when you have one that you like. So, and then the next thing I did is this has kind of the house is kind of up off the ground a little bit, and so what I did is I came in here and I added this brick material to the bottom. And then the next thing I did is I came in here and I started detailing out kind of the site work. So all I did is I drew a rectangle, and then I kind of extended it out a little bit. And then I just drew kind of a flat sidewalk piece, and I made these about 4 feet wide. And again, I wasn't trying to get super detailed with these. I was more trying to get just the sidewalk and the grass kind of roughed out in here. And the grass isn't really going to be the focal point on this, so I didn't really have to do a lot with it. So the next thing I did is I started coming in here and looking for shrubs. And one of the things that SketchUp has is they have a great collection of two-dimensional shrubs in here that you can use to bring in, and they're all two-dimensional face me components, meaning wherever you rotate your model, they're still going to face your camera, so they'll always face your camera in here. So I started adding some plants just to kind of break up the walls and stuff like that in here. And then I came in and I detailed out kind of a planting area, just like this. And so I came in and I added a couple different kinds of shrubs just to break everything up again. And you know, this is more, I find when I'm working with the SketchUp model, stuff like this really is good for kind of breaking up long expanses of a single material, is all that this was. So, and then I came in here and I did kind of the same thing. I built kind of trees on the side. Really, the trees on the side kind of take your eye off of the fact that there's nothing in the background. And you could definitely come in here and like add a background with a sky and everything else if you wanted to. And then what I did here is I noticed that my roof material was kind of showing through. So all I did is I came in here and I just kind of blocked out that space and turned it back to a white material. And I think I ended up changing the opacity back a little bit. So anyway, this is the final image that I ended up with. And again, you know, I could have come in here and changed a lot of different things and rendered it and stuff like that. But really, I was just trying to get kind of the house model and get kind of the image created. So you just kind of have to know what your goal is when you're doing something like this. So anyway, leave a comment below and let me know what you thought. Did you like this style of video? Did I go too fast for you? I just love having that SketchUp conversation with you guys, and I really want these videos to be helpful to you. So leave a comment below, let me know what you thought. Also, if you have any questions about the way that I did anything, leave a comment and let me know about that as well. So if you like this video, please remember to click that like button down below. If you're new around here, remember to click that subscribe button for new SketchUp content every week. If you like what I'm doing in this channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Every little bit helps, even if it's only $1 a month. That just helps me keep bringing you great SketchUp content. But in any case, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.